Hi, boys and girls and parents. My name is Mrs. Pardo, and I'm one of the catechists from St. Mary of the Assumption Church, and I'm here to teach you all about the Triduum. The Triduum, remember, is tri, can be three. That stands for three. Duum is days, and it's a word for Latin, duum. So it's a 3 days, and that's what I will be teaching you about. The Easter Triduum begins with Holy Thursday. It marks the end of 40 days of Lent and the beginning of the 3-day celebration of the Passion, Death, and Resurrection of Jesus Christ. These days are the most exalted celebrations of the year. On Holy Thursday, we celebrate the institution of the Eucharist, the institution of the priesthood, and the command to love one another. On this day, the holy oils are presented. These oils have been blessed by the Bishop Jose Gomez in Los Angeles, and they are brought to Santa Maria, to the church, or any of the churches here all over. The first one is the sick, the oil of the sick. It's used to anoint the sick. And the second one is for the catechumens. Those are the ones that are coming into the church. And the chrism oil is also used for baptism, confirmation, and holy orders. On that first Holy Thursday, Jesus was at the Last Supper with his apostles. Then he took the bread, and he said the blessing, broke it, and gave it to them, saying, "This is my body, which will be given for you. Do this in memory of me." And likewise the cup, after he had eaten, saying, "This cup is a new covenant in my blood, which will be shed for you." You will find that in Luke 22:19-20. During the Last Supper, Jesus washed the feet of his disciples. He rose from supper and took his outer garments off. He took a towel and tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and dried them with a towel around his waist. 2,000 years later, the Catholic Church has priests on a daily basis carrying out Jesus' command. During Holy Thursday, the priest washes the feet of 12 people in imitation of humility. We do that now in different churches. In the past years, it had been only the washing of the 12 feet of men, but now we can wash the feet, or the priest or deacon can wash the feet of men, women, and children. Jesus humbled himself before the apostles by washing their feet as an example of humility and service. He wished them to share that with others. Good Friday is now called the Passion of the Lord. This term has been used for centuries to designate the anniversary of Christ being crucified outside the city of Jerusalem. The Stations of the Cross is celebrated on this day. There's a veneration of the cross and adoration of the cross. This is the one day of the year when the holy sacrifice of the Mass is not celebrated. The people receive communion from the reserved sacrament which was consecrated on Holy Thursday. At the end of the service, the altar is stripped and left bare, recalling Jesus being stripped before the crucifixion. Now we go to Easter Vigil. This celebration takes place in the evening, and it's divided into 4 parts. Number 1, the service of the lights. Number 2, liturgy of the word. Number 3, baptismal liturgy. Number 4, the liturgy of the Eucharist. It is a very long Mass. Sometimes it even lasts up to 3 hours. On Easter Vigil, the sacrament of baptism, First Communion, confirmation are celebrated. by new Catholics when they are received into the Catholic Church. Then we go to Easter Sunday of the resurrection. Jesus is risen from the dead, and we say, Alleluia. This message goes out to all the world. He remained in the tomb for 2 days, and on the third day he rose from the dead. Easter Triduum is the most important celebration of the entire year. So to recap this, or to say it again, in our lives, we follow Jesus in service. Holy Thursday, when Jesus instituted the Holy Eucharist, washed the feet of his disciples. And in suffering on Good Friday, Jesus dies on the cross for every one of us. And in the resurrection, the Easter Vigil and Easter Sunday, Alleluia, we sing and we rejoice. I want to thank you, boys and girls, for listening. I want to thank your parents. And if you wanted to listen to any of these, the 3-day liturgy, you can find it on YouTube. You can find it in English or in Spanish, whichever is best for the whole family. We just